Welcome to your guide on the Benefits Calculator results page. This is Anna, our benefits specialist, and she'll be showing us around today. So why have we created this guide and why is it important to know about the results page?
Well, the results page should be the first thing you look at when you add a new connection because it gives you a full overview of their situation. It shows you the results from the calculation they've already done, either through our website or using our helpline. People will almost always respond better to direct personalised questions. So by using the results page to inform your interaction with your connection, you can improve the support you're able to give them. For example, if you can see that they're in a private tenancy and they don't have any savings, you could ask them when their rent's due and let them know that they can get a universal credit advance to help them to pay it on time. There's a lot of other information you can learn about your connection from the results page, and this can help you to form a rapport with your connection, which I know isn't always easy over SMS. And remember, a lot of your connections won't have a good understanding of the benefit system, so they might not always ask the questions they need answers to.
Okay, great. Let's have a look.
So, we're going to look at two different results pages. Can you tell us what exactly we're looking at?
Yes, we're starting here with a relatively simple calculation sheet, and it's broken into three sections. The first section is the results from their calculation. It shows a combination of benefits they're already getting and benefits they're entitled to claim. The next section is other help they might be entitled to, and this is tailored to each individual. Finally, we have the Your Circumstances section, which summarises the information they gave us when doing their calculation.
Okay, so let's start with the first section, the results.
And this calculation shows someone who doesn't have any entitlement to the benefits universal credit replaces. And you can tell that by the fact that you can only see here a result for universal credit and not for any legacy benefits.
So what does that tell me about a connection?
It tells you that your connection hasn't previously been claiming any benefits. They might not have much or any familiarity with the benefit system, and they might feel nervous about having to go to meetings at the job centre.
Does it show anything other than universal credit?
Yeah, it also shows any benefits outside of the universal credit system that they should be entitled to. So once you've supported them in starting their universal credit claim, you'll know to talk to them about claiming the other benefits identified here as well. You don't need to encourage people to make new claims for personal independence payment, disability living allowance, attendance allowance, or armed forces independence payment. If these show up here, that means they are already getting that benefit, since our calculator isn't able to calculate entitlement to these disability benefits.
So what support could a digital buddy give if their connection asks about these benefits?
You can signpost them to the information on our website, and if they need further advice, you can help them to find an advisor and help them overcome any barriers they have to getting advice.
Well, let's have a look at the second section, other help.
Now this section is personalised based on the information the client has given us, but we can't say for certain whether they're likely to have entitlement to everything identified here. All the same, the help listed here often goes underclaimed, and it can make a real difference to people's circumstances.
So what could a digital buddy do with this information?
Well, once people are set up on their universal credit and they've made claims for other benefits they're entitled to, you can encourage them to look into other help which has been identified for them, as they may not think to ask you about it.
Okay, so moving on to the third section, what can you tell us about the Your Circumstances section?
Now this page is very useful for buddies, but it's maybe not that easy to read at a glance. Once you get into the habit of using it, you'll get used to reading it really quickly. It can tell you really helpful information, like whether a connection lives with a partner or has dependent children at home, any disabilities they may have, their local authority, and whether they own or rent their home. Lauren, have a look at this results screen. What can you tell me about this person, and how do you know that?
Well, I can see they have a disability. They live with a partner and have 2 children. I can see they live in Cambridge and their partner is a carer but isn't claiming carer's allowance. It looks like neither of the children are disabled. Their only income is from their partner's job, which is only £85 per week. But they do have £1,000 in savings.
That's great, and you can use that information to help them. Since you know they live in Cambridge and they can claim council tax reduction, you can help them by finding out what Cambridge's process is for applying for council tax reduction. If they need an advisor, you can find one local to them without them needing to give you their address. You know they can make an application for carers allowance. You could find them information about how to do that.
Well, I guess that was quite simple. Are they all that easy to read?
Well, let's look at a slightly more complicated calculation. And this one's more complicated because this person is already getting benefits. When someone is already getting benefits, we will first show results for legacy benefits, and after that we will show results for universal credit. For people who aren't getting any legacy benefits, we just show a universal credit result, like the calculation we just looked at a moment ago. For people who are getting some legacy benefits, we continue to show both legacy and universal credit, because some people will be better off staying on legacy benefits than they will claiming universal credit. But we can see from the calculations here that our connection will be about £50 per week better off by making a claim for universal credit. And this is someone who's been claiming child tax credits as a couple, but is now splitting up. This means their child tax credit claim will close, and if they still want extra money to help with the cost of having children, they will have to get it through universal credit.
So if the results show universal credit, do you have to claim it?
No one has to claim universal credit. Some people will choose to be worse off and not have the hassle or uncertainty of claiming universal credit. As buddies, you can help people to make the decision that's right for them, and part of that is helping to demystify the universal credit process.
So how can I use this information to help a connection?
Well, people like this person here who've been getting housing benefit are often not used to budgeting for rent payments or paying rent themselves. So you could talk to your connection about strategies for making sure that happens. Not all new claimants of universal credit realise that the money for their rent is included in what they receive. They think their rent's still being paid direct. This is a huge driver of rent arrears and homelessness, so giving people information that they need to budget for their rent payments can be really helpful to them. Take a minute to look at the Your Circumstances section. What can you tell me about this connection?
Thanks, Anna, that's really starting to become clear. What would be your key points to take away from this?
Well, that using the results page can really help you to improve the support you give to your connections, because it shows you the benefits that they're entitled to claim and other help that they might be able to get. The details section contains a whole lot of useful information that you can use to support your connection.
Great. Well, that's the end of your guide. I hope you found it useful. Remember, you can come back at any time. You'll find it on the volunteer portal.